Isn't this
Hello,
great?
everyone.
Wow, look at those lines. Goodness.
Wow.
Gee, I thought I was going to ask them a bunch of stuff, ask all of my burning questions, but I think you guys are going to take care of it. But I want to kick things off. The three of you did group recording sessions for the Clone Wars. It is reputed that you all know each other quite well. You love each other. You're like a family. But
That's the perception, isn't it?
that's the exact sound I want to hone in on. I want to question just how well you know each other. So, anybody out there fans of the Newlywed Game? Matt?
Yes.
You're a big fan of Ashley Eckstein in addition to being her castmate, best friend. How does Ashley take her coffee?
Ashley's very sweet. Everyone knows Ashley's like the sweetest cast member we have, for sure.
Wait a second, I thought I was.
Well, you're kind, she's sweet. I'm gonna say she's a 2 cream, 2 sugar kind of girl. Very strong, because she's strong in the Force. I don't know where I'm going with this. 2 creams, 2 sugars.
James,
Well,
how do you think Ashley takes her coffee?
I would say she doesn't have coffee, she has tea because she's an Alice fan. And so Alice would have tea.
We're seeing the game being played by masters of the craft. So Ashley, did either of them win? Do either of them score points in this game where we're not keeping track of the points? We're just having fun. Did either of them get this right?
Well, they each get a point because I love my coffee. I have coffee every morning, and I do like it sweet. I don't like put sugar in it, but I put honey. I'm surprised James didn't say, because I have an allergy to dairy, so it's with oat creamer, but I do put lots of cream in it.
That's stupid. We just talked about you having a dairy thing.
It's all good. But what you did get right is I like my coffee so strong, it'll like make you go cross-eyed. Like I love it strong.
Just bring on the jet fuel.
Bring on the jet fuel, but then I drink.
She stops by MCO every morning.
But I drink tea at night, so James is right too.
Okay, so now I'm gonna give one to all three of you.
Okay.
Let's start with James.
Hello.
Matt, if James, not Obi-Wan Kenobi, but if James had a lightsaber in real life, what color lightsaber would James Arnold Taylor's lightsaber be?
You know, I don't think we've ever talked about it, but I can see you as a green, kind of a, no? Okay.
I mean, we've got to let Ashley
That's a
guess.
lot of
We
shifty
can't
eyebrows.
give the answers to the test away yet.
Look, that was
What do you think,
I-
Ashley?
Blue?
Blue?
I think you would
Okay.
choose blue.
All right, let's turn it around. What color lightsaber would Matt have, Ashley?
Red.
That was quick. That was a fast one.
I'd say he'd have blue, because while I have blue eyes, and that's why Matt has the deepest, just dreamiest blue eyes ever. And so I think he would have ones that match his eyes.
Do you have any idea how many ships just set sail?
Yes. Goodbye then.
And finally,
I think we'd make it a good couple.
I have a bad
making it worse. Making it worse. What color lightsaber would Ashley have, guys?
Orange.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would say orange or green because Ashley loves Ahsoka. And
That is true.
I know this is supposed to be like a not Ahsoka thing, but it's just Ahsoka is such a part of her now that she would definitely do like an orange or
Yes.
green.
All right, Ashley. Let's assign points here. How accurate were they?
They're both wrong.
They're both wrong.
She would be red.
No, Matt actually is exactly correct. Ahsoka is a part of me. She's literally a part of my heart and soul. So I love orange, I love green, but I would choose white. Like Ahsoka.
And Matt, how accurate were your co-stars with yours?
I think blue is pretty correct. I do love blue. Yeah.
All right, and James?
Yeah, blue. Blue. Actually got that. Yeah.
So there we go. We now have official answers. So please update Wikipedia.
Yes, blue saves.
These are all facts now. So take it to the bank. Like I said, we have 2 enormous lines of questions. I could ask them questions all day, but that would be incredibly unfair. And Nicole is going to ask our first question. Her first question at a con ever. Let's hear it for Nicole. No pressure. No pressure at all.
Lots of pressure. This is for Matt. Well, first, thank you all for being here. It's just so awesome. It's our first con, so thank you.
Thank you.
So this is for Matt. Being Anakin, especially in the Clone Wars, you gave Anakin like his true embodiment. In the movies, we see him go from good to bad kind of fast. So did you take Hayden's take or your own take? Because I feel like there was such pressure on you. So how did you do such an amazing job with that?
Thank you very much. That's very kind, first of all. I had a conversation with George and Dave before we started working on things.
No big deal. Conversation with George.
Just casual.
Went over to George's pad.
And I actually did. Well, not to
Had
his
a couple
office.
beers. Got a
To
little crazy.
his office, to his office. At Skywalker Ranch. Where I stayed for days. For free. I don't know, what was your question?
I mean, how'd you build him as a character? How did you build him for yourself?
So we had a conversation and we talked about how this Anakin was just gonna have some differences from what we had seen in the film. I think you kind of said it. It was a tough job to take Anakin from, bratty teenager to like the most iconic villain of all time in a very short amount of screen time. So we talked about some things that we could do with Anakin, and I didn't try to do a Hayden impression. I think that's one of the reasons probably why they hired me, I guess, because they weren't trying to voice match or anything. We were just kind of going our own direction. And but I certainly, took Hayden's performance and the character development into play. I mean, yeah, absolutely. But no, I wasn't trying to do a Hayden thing. We just kind of did our own thing, and got 7 seasons to develop that character.
That's awesome. Thank you so much again.
But I want to say, like, the hero side of Anakin that we love in Clone Wars really is Matt.
Yeah.
Like, he brought his own heart and soul to the character. So
I think that's one of the main things is that we'd heard that he was this amazing pilot and this great Jedi, and we hadn't really seen it in the films, really. So I think that's one of the things they really wanted to explore. And that meant him being charismatic and fun and kind of funny and kind of witty, and you kind of like him.
Yeah, it was the beauty of the show was that we got to do what, like Star Trek got to do, where every week you got to spend time with them. Clone Wars actually gave you a chance to spend time every week with these characters that we only saw in the movies, and I think that's what was such an honor for all of us to get to open those characters up in ways that they didn't get to in the movies.
Star Wars is a TV show, it'll never work. Look how wrong everybody was. Let's go right over here to Rey Skywalker.
Hi, I'm Landry. I just want to say that actually you're my hero in Clone Wars. Honestly, saved my life a year ago. But I have a question. If Anakin knew true freedom, do you think he would have left the Jedi Order with Ahsoka?
We're writing fan fiction on stage tonight.
Yeah, great question. If he knew true freedom, would he have left? I think he might have left a lot earlier. Yeah. Anakin's it's a really sad character, right? It's a character that's been manipulated like almost his entire life, like a pawn piece. So, yeah, it's a great question. Really cool to think about.
can you repeat what you said at the beginning?
I said that you were the beginning part of the question.
The beginning part.
I said that you were my hero in Clone Wars, saved my life a year ago.
First of all, thank you, but I want to thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's very brave. And would you mind coming up? I want to give you a hug. Because this world is better with you in it. And Ahsoka and our show reminds all of us that there's always light, even in the darkest of times. And thank you, because you are such a light today. So let me come.
Let's hear it one more time, everybody. This is why we do these things, right? Right?
What an incredible way to kick off the panel. And
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate for mental health. And this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And, you know, there's such a stigma surrounding mental health. And we can all play a role in breaking down that stigma because our mental health is just as important as our physical health. And we can do that just by talking about it. So, thank you.
Yep.
If I could take the opportunity to follow up on that just a little bit, what has it been like for the three of you these years that you've been doing conventions, having fans come up to you and sharing these deeply personal stories? I mean, do you have some of those first memories of people sharing that kind of stuff with you in this setting that stick with you?
Yeah, I mean, even 2 weeks ago when we were at a convention in Tennessee, a young man shared a similar story in that, and it's just beautiful. And then it was his birthday, and Ashley had us all sing happy birthday to him in the room, and it was fantastic. Because it's such an amazing journey that we've all been on over these last couple of years, and now to come together again and get to see everybody again. And you know, a lot of people watch Clone Wars over again during all that time, and so now it's fresh and new, but it's still just there. So it's just been an amazing blessing to get to meet everybody and to say thank you, because it's really because of all of you. It really is.
Yeah, I think sometimes people do share that really personal information with us. Some stories do stick out. I've heard some stuff that really sticks out in my head. I had a guy come through with his young nephews, and his brother had just been killed in action, and his nephews and their dad, who had just been killed, they used to watch Clone Wars together. That was their thing. And so this guy's brother was now bringing the nephews to the cons to continue to experience Clone Wars. And that's one that really sticks with me. But it's pretty incredible how we get to hear some of these amazing people's stories, and yeah, it's really. Sorry to get all sad, but it's truly it's a blessing for us to get to.
It's heartfelt. It's heartfelt, and emotions are important. And
it's a blessing for us to get to hear how our little show has impacted in a real way.
Yeah, and when you hear stories like this, it changes you. It really does. And so when people say to me, like, why do you care about your character so much? When you hear that, characters like Ahsoka Tano or just our show and Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi change and save people's lives, that's not something you take lightly. And I literally wake up every day and ask myself, okay, if Ahsoka Tano means that much to people, how can I be a reflection of her? How can I be a real life version of her? And it's an honor that we all, try to live up to every single day.
Well, it's no small thing that you share so much of yourselves with these people that are sharing a lot with you. This is why we do cons, right? Right? Big feelings, great stories, no pressure. You get to follow that up.
I know. Hey guys, hey, I got a question for Ashley. It has to do with Ahsoka, because I know when first the Clone Wars came out, the movie, and Ahsoka was brought on, everybody kind of looked at it kind of like an extra layer for Anakin. He's a Padawan now, but you really took that and kind of created your own character that everybody loves. But at the end of season 5, when you left, obviously, as a viewer, we didn't know what to expect. We all kind of were like, well, how does she tie into the movies? Is she just gone? How did you already know kind of like where it was going when they brought you back, like it said season 7, at the last 3 episodes? Did you already kind of have an idea of how you're going to be brought back, if you're going to be brought back?
So no, I did not. So I was
You didn't talk to George?
No, I clearly don't have a direct dial to George Lucas like Matt.
I thought we all did.
No, some of us have to do other things.
Dave Filoni has always worked on a need-to-know basis. So you only know what you need to know. And so, we obviously worked a year ahead of time from what you all saw. So at some point I did know. I knew about, 9 months to a year before we actually saw Ahsoka and Rebels. But between the time of Ahsoka walking away in Clone Wars to Star Wars to when I got the call, which was at least a year, I didn't know. And it was a cliffhanger for me, just like you all. And trust me, my husband's here, but there were many tears shed because I was worried about her just like we all were. So thank you.
Thank you.
Right over here.
Okay, that's one question. Between the three of you, who do you think will win in a lightsaber fight?
Which of the three would win in a lightsaber fight?
Well, I would have the funniest quips. I think Ashley would probably kick up.
Ashley has 2 sabers, right? So
Yeah.
2 is always better than 1.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Matt has done a lot of training for his various shows, Timeless and
then just on my own in my own living room.
Yeah. So maybe Matt, but you know who would win in a dance-off? I think I might win in a dance-off. You want to have a dance-off right now and let them decide it?
Ashley will win. It's actually happening, everyone. Okay? All he can do is try to imitate you. He sat down, he's forfeited, he gave up. How can I compete?
And I chose to be the DJ on that because I wasn't dancing.
Everyone's like so angry. They thought they were coming to a Clone Wars panel.
Let's see, we were over there, so over here next.
Hi.
Hello there.
My name's Sky. And first off, I just wanted to thank you guys so much because pre-pandemic I was going through a really rough time and I had actually stopped talking to my best friend because of differences, and Clone Wars actually brought us back together, and she's literally the Sky Guy to my Snips. That's what we literally call each other. I took her to Galaxy's Edge, she cried, I cried, we flew the Falcon together, it was really nice. But my question is for Ashley. Women in Star Wars is such a powerful thing, and I feel like Ahsoka definitely paved a way for more women to enter the Star Wars fandom and be a part of the community. So was there a moment, big or small, that you had that you realized, oh shit, I'm making a difference in the Star Wars community?
All 2.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing your story, and I'm so happy that Clone Wars brought you and your best friend back together. That, Clone Wars, I think we could all agree, and Star Wars, our community brings people together, and that's what I love so much about it. But yes, I knew right away when I was cast as Ahsoka that she was going to be a trailblazer and a game changer, because it was the first time on a weekly basis that a lightsaber was put in a girl's hands, and that an entire generation of female fans could see a female Jedi on a regular basis. Yes, there was female Jedi, but Ahsoka Tano was the first female Jedi that was a lead character in the Star Wars universe. And so I said I just try so badly to be a real life version of Ahsoka, but back then I was like, okay, how can I be a trailblazer like Ahsoka? And that's, when I got the idea of her universe, I knew nothing about starting a business, starting a clothing line. I didn't know anything about it. I don't even have a college degree. I just have a high school diploma. But I knew that female Star Wars fans needed to be represented, because we all know, because I'm looking at this audience and it's 50-50 male-female, we know that Star Wars is for everyone. It's not just for men, not just for women, not just for, they, them, it's for everyone. And so, thank you. So I wanted to create a safe place where everyone could step into the spotlight and say, hi, I'm a girl and I like Star Wars. And so I started her universe because I asked myself, what would Ahsoka do? And the answer was that Ahsoka would create a safe place for female fans. And so that's what her universe was. Yes, I wanted merchandise for female fans. I wanted cute t-shirts and dresses and skirts. Yes, with pockets. Yes. safe space where female fans could just be themselves and like Star Wars. And I think we've created that now, right?
Pockets
Thank you
for
for your
everyone.
question.
Everyone gets
Pockets for everyone. You get a pocket. You get a pocket. And you get a pocket.
Having our pockets in the door.
We need them in Jedi robes, don't we?
Right over here.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is for all three of you. I think animation is truly like one of like the forerunners for how we change media. And with great animation, we need great voice actors. So I just want to know what draws all three of you to voice acting, other than of course having bills to pay. But you know.
Well, these two were very, very talented on-camera actors and still are. And so they spent their time in front of the camera, and then they got to come in and do this. And I remember the first time I worked with both of them, I wasn't actually voicing Obi-Wan, I was voicing Jedi Master Plo Koon. And I went, wow, I get it, man. These two are amazing. And watching them do what we do, like D. Bradley Baker, Tom Kane, Jim Cummings, Corey Burton, these legends in voice acting that I've got to work with through the years. Amazing to watch folks like them and Catherine Tabor come in and just join in, and they just got it. They just did fantastic. But I'm a nerd. I wanted to be a voice actor since I was 4 years old. I figured out at one point, I guess I saw Mel Blanc in a room. Yeah, what's up, Doc? And I went, I want to do that. And so since I was 4, I've tried to do that. So that's from Johnny Test, who's totally awesome, to Fred Flintstone, pick up from How to Train Your Dragon, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and all those. Whoa, wait a second, Doc, one guy's doing all those voices? Great Scott, Marty, that's right. So, if I wasn't a voice actor, I'd just be doing that somewhere else, and that would be sad. So, for me,
It's only sad if you make it.
it was my course, but
Yeah, but Matt and I were so fortunate because yes, we were new to voiceover for the most part when we got our roles, but wow, we got the best education because we got to learn on the job with legends like James Arnold Taylor, D. Bradley Baker, Tom Kane, Corey Burton, and so we really were, at least me especially, I was a Padawan just like Ahsoka. So I was not only, learning, even I thought I was a Star Wars fan until you work with Dave Filoni, who learned from George Lucas, and then you realize like, oh, I have a lot to learn. But then I was also learning voiceover at the same time, and so we were very fortunate to learn on the job.
Yeah, I mean, voice acting is just another avenue of acting, right? You got stage actors, you got voice acting, you got on camera, film, TV. It's all acting, so it's just doing what we love to do. But yeah, I mean, the small differences, I guess, it's a totally fun and creative thing. I think probably most of us have given voices to characters as kids, and now it's just we get paid to do that. But it's the same thing. Like it's creativity at its best.
the fact that you can walk into a room and be, an old man and a little kid, you don't get to do that on camera. So it's really, and Ashley said this before at a panel, it's like voice actors are character actors, and it's the real deal. So I appreciate all of the attention that it's getting now. Because I always say that Hollywood doesn't know who we are, but their kids know who we are.
My family.
There we go.
Oh, hi. Hello. Sorry, everyone. So my family's big baseball fans. So one, it's really cool to be in a room with a World Series MVP. I did.
Yes,
Eckstein. I tried to not fanboy earlier, but now you've exposed me.
I'm a very proud wife. So my husband used to play Major League Baseball, so he's trained me in the ways of the Force with the lightsaber, but with the baseball bat.
So
His photo ops are $40. $1,000. There we go.
So we knew your husband before we knew you playing baseball, and so my daughter loved Matt Holliday and all those baseball guys. So when you showed up on Clone Wars, and it was like, that last name is rare and familiar, we were like, I wonder who that is. So we investigated and we found that out, and that was really cool. And so the question, all that leads to the question for the three of you is, if your characters were playing sports or watching sports, what would it be?
This guy's stealing my gimmick.
I mean, that's easy. Pod racing.
Enough said.
I mean, Ahsoka, here's what I love about Ahsoka, is she proves that anyone can be a Jedi because she's tiny, you know, really, but she's just as fierce.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she'd probably be like a gymnast.
UFC.
What?
UFC.
Oh, yeah.
As,
That'd be cool.
as a former gymnast, if she was a gymnast, what would be her event of specialization? Was she a vaulter? Is she on the uneven bars? Is she floor exercise?
Floor, for
exercise?
sure. Yeah, I mean, did you guys see season 7, the last season? Like when Ahsoka jumps out of the ship and goes from ship to ship to ship and then lands and with the flames behind her. I mean, if that's not a floor
She
exercise,
did that.
I don't know
That was
what is.
It's kind of like Anakin, I guess.
Great question. Right over here. We've got about 10 minutes left. I think we can get to a bunch more of y'all if we go quick. Let's go right here. Go for it.
Okay, well, answer fast.
So yeah, first off quick, I just want to say thank you guys for Clone Wars because Clone Wars introduced me to some of my best friends. I watched Clone Wars during the pandemic and some of my best friends we met through like Discord servers for Star Wars and just was, you know, I made some really good friends because of Star Wars. But, all right, so my question is a kind of weird one. And it's for all three of you, if your characters found out that Obi-Wan had a secret love child with a certain duchess, how would they react?
What was that I said about fan fiction earlier?
It's canon.
Oh my.
How would Anakin react to that? I think he would be like, "What you? Oh, what you? All this time?"
I have the high ground.
And Ahsoka would just say, I know.
Thank you guys.
Oh boy, we're getting in so much trouble. Right over here.
Thank you all for being here. I'm so glad to see the three of you. I don't think I've seen the three of you on stage together. I promise I'll be quick, but I got like 4 things to rattle through. Hashtag stop fake pockets. To do with the fashion at her universe brand. Hashtag stop fake pockets. It sucks that so many fashion brands out there have such tiny pockets on women's clothes. A previous question dealt with lightsaber duels with 3 characters and lightsabers. There was one I want to mention in the Mortis arc, right? The 3 of you on the kind of pocket dimension with the father and the son and the daughter. When the son corrupted Ahsoka, there was a brief duel between Ahsoka and Anakin. I think Obi-Wan was involved there briefly. Everybody, if you haven't seen the 3 of them duel, go watch that arc from season 7. It was wonderful, right? Beautiful talent. The 3 of you were amazing. Third thing to rattle through. Ashley, you must have been so gypped, right? After Rosario Dawson was cast as Ahsoka in Mandalorian, to see Cad Bane, right? His original voice actor come back for him in the Book of Boba Fett, and
So
you
let me
couldn't
stop
beat.
you right there. Hold on just a sec, bud. It sounded to me like the question was, did Cad Bane look super badass? Which he did.
He did, I agree.
You know what I'll say to that though? I don't look back. I am just grateful for what I have and have had. But as Yoda says, always in motion is the future. So if you all want to request that I get to do some sort of cameo or anything, have at it.
So it sounds like you're saying people could get on their smartphones and create hashtags and mount campaigns to get Ashley Eckstein in live action. Yeah? Right?
They say throw your dreams out into the universe and you never know what can happen.
Well, you know, they say it's her universe these days.
It is indeed. I got one last thing though, right before I go. Matt and James, do you have any funny stories from working through the lines from the movies for the new Lego Star Wars game, working over Ewan and Hayden's lines for the game?
I mean, for years it was kind of like, that's off limits. But so it was fun. It's to get to do some of the sand lines, which are definitely hands down the most loved lines of all the saga. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Matt Wood, General Grievous, it was a sound designer and director on that too, so he just had fun with us. The way that worked is, for me at least, they played me the lines and then I would just say them back. And when I first started doing Obi-Wan Kenobi 20 years ago now, for the Clone Wars micro series, it was, thank you, shameless plug. I was supposed to be matching Ewan because the movies were still being made. So my Obi-Wan was changed a bit, you know. So when it's Ewan, it's up here. It's a little more, you know, it's light. You look tired because of your mother. Dreams pass in time. And then Obi-Wan on the show is a little more. These aren't the droids you're looking for. I take a little of that. I'll take a little of Ewan, and then I combine them, and then you get my Obi-Wan. It's subtle, but there's the difference. So I tried to put some of that Obi-Wan into what we did in the game, but still pay homage to what Ewan had done fabulously in the others.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, I'm Jackie, and I just want to say it's so wonderful to be here. Star Wars was my dad and I's thing, and I lost him to COVID in 2020, so
sorry.
It's nice to kind of continue to keep hold of his memory by doing things like this. But I wanted to follow up on the voice acting question from earlier and ask if you guys had any tips and tricks for people looking to break into the industry.
D. Bradley Baker, the voice of all the clones, has a website called iwannabeavoiceactor.com. It's a free site with free information that is fantastic information because D is one of the greatest voice actors on the planet. And that is a great resource, and I would say that. Shameless plug, my YouTube channel's got a bunch of stuff of me in my stuff, doing my thing too, and I give advice there. Another book, Voiceover Voice Actor by Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt. It's a fantastic book that gives you all the ins and outs of that. But the biggest thing I would say is keep at it. Listen to yourself, record yourself all the time. Get comic books, get Dr. Seuss, read them out loud, you know, annoy your friends, and love the craft of it because it's an amazing journey as a voice actor.
And I would say just know that you're getting into a business of failure. You are going to fail more than you're going to succeed. And if you know that, it helps because I auditioned for 4 years, probably about 400 auditions that I did not get before I got Ahsoka. But I'm so glad I didn't give up because it changed my life. So don't give up because when you do succeed, it's so much fun. And so just keep at it. And I believe your dad is here with you. So he's still watching Clone Wars with you.
We got about 5 minutes left. Let's try to get to everybody that we can.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello there.
Thank you guys for coming. This is honestly really big. I'm really happy to be in this room. I'm sure everyone is, let's be honest. So, knowing how Star Wars is and knowing how huge it is, before the Clone Wars, there wasn't that much animation for it, if little. Was there any pressure when the Clone Wars came out that you guys were feeling? Anything you had to kind of trick yourselves into learning more about the characters? Anything in particular you guys felt more pressure than other projects on coming into probably the first and biggest animation for Star Wars?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pressure was there, but you just sort of forget about it a little bit. And kind of like I was saying earlier, they wanted the specific little bit of a difference for my character. So Dave Filoni did a great job of just leading us and talking to us about where that character was emotionally before, like 7 years into it. He, sits there and kind of gives us a whole brief rundown of what's happening, where we're at mentally. And I really looked to Dave as a guide in the beginning, and you do your own research and your homework and know what you can know, but also you rely on the great script writers and the storytellers and that as well. We're just a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, and similar to Matt, I got to be myself as well. So I think we were in a little bit of a bubble in the beginning, because we made the show for 2 years before you ever got to see it. And Dave made it a safe space, and I feel very just honored that because I got to originate the character, there wasn't anything we had to copy. I got to literally bring my own voice, my own heart, my own soul, my own humor and wit and wisdom to this character. And so to get to do that along the way has just been the role of a lifetime.
Yeah, and then I'll just say that I kept all the lines from all of the films, the prequels, and my phone. So on my way to the sessions, I'd listen to them, kind of get in my head, and just kind of be that. But I specifically wouldn't listen to Revenge of the Sith much because I thought that's not where Obi-Wan is. My Obi-Wan never goes there, I mean, barely at the end, right? So I try to always keep him that way. And the chosen one stays the chosen one.
Next up, right over here.
Hey guys, so I know that you three record a lot, and I'm assuming that when you go into the booth, you bring a lot of camaraderie and unity into it. But in season 3, the Mortis arc, you actually get to approach that from a more antagonistic point of view. What was your unique take on that, especially those of you that actually got to play, dark side versions of your characters?
Well, I have a fun story for that because I was having a really hard time doing Dark Side Ahsoka. And James, we all recorded together, and James could really see me struggling with it. And so he came over to me and just gave me some direction on how to think about it differently. And literally, it was because of James's direction. It was like I did it in 2 takes, then we were able to move on. So I'm very
you're
grateful.
so sweet. You have a hard time being mean. She's just like, it's just too nice,
I know, but it really helped. He was also a great director in that moment.
That's very cool. Oh, she's.
I think for Anakin, obviously I knew that's where the character's headed, and we all know that. And we had moments through the series where Dave was very intentional on where Anakin would be dark. We would call them flashes of the dark side. And so we would do that occasionally. So there wasn't some brand new foreign thing for me. And as the seasons went on, we were more intentional to show more of those moments. But that was a really fun episode arc. I said it's one of my favorite ones because I kind of got to go there with the Vader. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, but I did get to do the "You are my brother, Anakin," which was really cool. I was like, can we do the whole thing? You are the chosen one. But I didn't get to do all of it, but I loved that, so that was fun.
Right over here.
Hello there. I just want to say I really love you guys, and Clone Wars is what made me fall in love with Star Wars. Before I was kind of a casual fan, but this show is what really brought me to love and appreciate Star Wars and what it can do for people. But my question for you is, when starting to do Clone Wars and starting to work on the show, did you think it would ever have the cultural impact that it does now?
I didn't. I honestly had no idea. I mean, when I auditioned, I didn't know it was for Anakin. I didn't know what it was, because they didn't, they hid that on purpose, obviously. But I had no idea, and I'm not the fan. I wasn't the fan of Star Wars then as I am now, and so I don't even think I really understood the possibilities, the popularity that the show would have.
That's why you got to go to George's office. Because they actually have signs with my picture. Keep him away.
I think, no, we didn't. I think we had hopes. But looking back, I actually feel very fortunate that Clone Wars came out when it did. Because we were the only Star Wars that was out. Like now, there's just, and this is great, by the way, but there's so much Star Wars. It's like everywhere we turn, it's like there's new Star Wars, new Star Wars. Back then, Clone Wars was it. We were Star Wars for an entire generation. So looking back, it makes sense. Also, I think the way it was written and coming out weekly, especially Ahsoka, she was the eyes of the audience. So as Ahsoka was learning lessons, an entire generation of young fans was learning those lessons with her, and adults too. So I think, Star Wars fans around the world could just, fall in love with Star Wars again, but just through Clone Wars.
It's kind of the chicken or the egg kind of thing where we're at now, though, because without Clone Wars, would we have all the Star Wars we have now? I don't know. don't know, but it's pretty cool.
So I'm going to take us on a ride for just a second. I've got good news, bad news, and then more good news. The good news is this has been great, right? Unfortunately, the bad news is that was our last question because we are out of time. But the good news that I promised you 13 seconds ago is that you're here the rest of the weekend, right?
Yes.
They've got photo ops this afternoon. You should go down and get signed up for them. We are going to take a picture with you, the audience.
So, I was thinking we could do a selfie. And let's see, let's see. Okay, yeah. Let's see, but I might.
My lady.
Wait a second.
Okay, everyone's gonna
All right.
kind of have to like come in.
Can y'all squeeze in over
If you
here?
if you are able to stand, please stand. Squeeze in toward the middle.
Squeeze in as much as you can. And you know what? Maybe we should just do a video. How about that? That way I can get everyone in.
Hand it around a little bit, yeah.
And let's say, what do we say? What do we say? Oh yeah.
May the force be with you. There's a ring to it.
Okay. So
This is where the fun begins.
here, I'm gonna start the video. All right, we're here at MegaCon. We just had an amazing Clone Wars panel. So join us all weekend. The force is strong with this audience, and together, let's say, may the force be with you. Okay, I'm gonna get a photo. All right. Let's go. James, where are you? There you go.
Very shy.
All right. Ready, set. May the force be with you. Okay. Cool. Thank you, everyone.
So, 2 little bits of housekeeping. They do have photo ops this afternoon. Go ahead and get them now, even though they're a few hours from now, to make sure that they don't sell out. I have one little thing to leave you with. Over the course of the pandemic, my girlfriend lives in Toronto, I live in Austin. We didn't see each other for the better part of 2 years, and because of Clone Wars, we had 7 years of magic to share with each other remotely. And I know that all of you have stories just like that. So if you already saw them, go see them again. If you haven't seen them, go see them.
Yes, please come see us.
Let's get a round of applause for our sign language interpreters.
Thank you so much.